I'm going to make a claim, but I don't know how to prove it. And the claim is that most of the friends that I talk to, and have always talked to ever since I was like little, have been like females and women and girls. Like those have been like my set friends. Sure, I've had some good friends that were guys. Like you all know about my dude in Olympia that I used to hang out with, and the dude in Bellingham. We used to like kick it and watch like Criterion Collection movies. We were the nerds, you know. But like these days, watching a Criterion Collection film is pretty mainstream. But my dudes had like the Criterion. They came from more money than I did, so they didn't have any. One dude didn't have any siblings, and the other dude didn't have any male siblings. So like sharing with me and sometimes other dudes was no sweat, because it was like there's a brother, and I was always like that. Man, I remember like getting super high and watching, smoking some weed and watching that Closure Nine Inch Nails video series with like the homoerotic scenes and like getting really freaked out. But I was like 18, so it was weird. But that's good art. That's some interesting art. Trent Reznor is a weird dude, but he's a interesting guy too. He's kind of a dick. But like I remember doing that. I remember like watching a lot of Monty Python. I remember watching just like movies that nobody had ever heard of that were, you couldn't just download them back in 1998. You know. So like I had my guy friends that I'd hang out with, and there was a guy that I hung out with where I grew up in Montesano. Like those were like my Aberdeen dudes, and they were like 2 years older than me. But I had a buddy that was like a year older than me. It was kind of a dumbass that got held back. This chunky dude who was kind of like me, but not really. Like he liked a lot of weird music, like the whole Residents set, and like weird music like Ween. But he also really liked ICP when they were getting popular, and was really into rap, and had like tattoos when he was 18, like tons of them, and had like this little, like he was dressing as a b-boy or like a wigger or like a dude bro back then, so he was like one of those guys. So he had like this container that he used to keep on his neck that could contain cocaine. Like he never had any in that. He was kind of like a white trash. But I remember his parents won the lottery. His dad won like $100,000 on Quinta one time. They lived in an old abandoned schoolhouse outside of Montesano, Washington, and the house always smelled like pee because they had ferrets. But I used to hang out with this guy all the time, and like my dudes in like definitely proletariat. Like the dudes that I hung out in Aberdeen were like petite bourgeoisie, and their houses always smelled like soap, like my house did. Always smelled like cleaning products or soap, like a clean house. And my mom didn't like any of these guys because they all smoked weed. But like with my younger brother, all his friends smoked weed, but she didn't care about his friends. So it was a lot of that. I don't really understand that. But like I had friends in Montesano. I had this friend that had these huge ass tits. I never said anything sexual to her at all, and I kind of regret it. And I had a friend that was in powerlifting, a chick who was like one of the top power lifters, maybe even in the state. And like the chicks all got married. The dudes still aren't married. One of them is the guy in Montesano is married, lives in Alaska and works at a Walmart. But he's got kids and is happy. Like most of the dudes that I hung out with are married now. But my two main dudes are not. But the one dude that arguably one of my best friends, that I hung out with all the time, smoked weed with all the time, he never got married. He's still a bachelor. If you want to call him an incel, you gotta like excuse the behavior of the dudes you actually date, Zoomers, because this guy is not a misogynist, but he's one of these guys that'll like complain about feminazis, like, well, pretty much 99% of dudes. Dudes that don't complain about like fascist, liberal women are scary to me. But dudes that that also don't complain about like deeply jockish, misogynistic dudes are also scary to me. So like you got to see both sides. If you don't, you're not really seeing the full picture. Like the women that I would hang out with, like dated all these other guys, and I was just sort of there. I was always open, but it's like I wasn't ever really considered to be considered. That angers me a little bit, but it's something that I've let go of. Even now, I talk to a lot of women. I'm talking to more women on FetLife now, which is cool because I'm talking to more Zoomers, like women that are around 20. Starting to. I think we're kind of like feeling each other out because there's a whole like age gap love thing on FetLife, but a large portion of it, they probably see me as a bit of a square because I'm not really into kink. I've told them that I'm open-minded to it, but I've never really explored even dating younger women because I've never really had a lot of luck with them when I've had plenty of luck with women my own age and older. So I don't know how to prove it. I don't know how to prove how I'm really, I get along well with women. To me, Zoomers, basically the same as Generation X or Millennials, except that they say nigga more often. Or that they're more fertile. Same, though. But you know me. You know how supportive I am of like girls playing sports in school and being paid exactly the same as men. And I'm totally for Elizabeth Warren presidency if that occurs, and blah 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 blah. Like after a while, if you have to like prove that you're a feminist in order to get the friendship with a woman, you should just say "fuck you, bitch" and walk off. Because after a while, it's like, I don't owe you jack shit, bitch. I don't owe you an explanation. I've probably over-explained it, misandrist. But right there, you're laughing, so I'm happy that you're laughing because I am funny. So that makes me a comedian. So I don't really know how I'd prove it without doxing my friends. But if I find out you're talking shit about me behind my back, I'm ending the friendship.